Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Legacy, the podcast where we delve into the stories that shape our lives and the lessons we carry forward. I'm your host, Cedric D. Nelson, and I'm excited to embark on this journey of discovery, growth, and inspiration with you. Whether you're seeking motivation, guidance, or simply a moment of reflection, Life, Lessons, and Legacy is here to accompany you on your quest for fulfillment and purpose. So sit back, open your mind, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Life Lessons and Legacy podcast with your host, Mr. Cedric D. Nelson. Today, I'm honored to have the guest, the COO of Supreme Staffing, Miss Marnie Byford. Marnie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Cedric?
I'm doing well. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I can't wait to for the listeners to hear you and hear about your story and get to know you better. So, again, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. All right. So I'll start the first questions. I know you, but the listeners don't know you yet. So, what's your background? Where are you from? All that good stuff.
My background, it's always funny because I always get shocked looks when people ask me. So I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am Philly girl. I
Okay.
am from up north. My dad is originally from Hernando, Mississippi. My dad passed away when I was younger. My grandma was still here, and she was getting older, so I kind of gave up going to school up north,
Mhm.
between Temple and Penn State, and picked Mississippi State. Go Bulldogs. So I came down, I went to school at Mississippi State, and graduated from there with my undergraduate degree in educational psychology, minor in corrections. Moved to Memphis, and decided to get my master's degree in healthcare administration education. Um, my work, coming out of college was definitely more in the healthcare side of the business, realm, working with at-risk adults,
Mhm.
at-risk youth, state funding jobs, those kind of things. And then from there, life just kind of took itself. I became a mom of four beautiful daughters. They're almost all grown up. It's kind of scary. Not ready for that part of the sector of life. But in the midst of all that, I kind of shifted and changed my career, to be where I'm at today.
Okay. So, quick question. So, with shifting and changing careers, was it kind of scary in the beginning, or was it something you wanted to do, or kind of life kind of says, "Hey, we're going to go this route"?
I get asked that a lot. Was it scary? Yes. Um, did I do it on purpose? Yes, I did it on purpose because I think I came to a point in my life that I loved what I did. I enjoyed it wholeheartedly, but I felt like I wasn't doing enough, giving enough, getting enough personally for myself. And then I think I was starting to feel a level of burnout that I didn't want to come to because, when you're trying to take care of yourself and family, you definitely want to stay afloat and not drown.
Hmm.
So I made a transition in life where, I was like, I think I want to try something that still touches what I do
Hmm.
in my everyday career, what I paid so much money for to go to school for.
Yeah.
Um, but start driving into a passion that suits me. It's what I want to do. It's where I want to be. I got an opportunity to be in a warehouse setting, doing training and development, and it just went from there. And
Wow.
I was so happy with it because everything I learned in my previous life, in my career of working with the at-risk youth, the adults, learning behaviors. I'm telling you, it was everything I needed to be where I'm at today, because I don't think you can do what you do every day without understanding human. And I think we forget that so very much.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that I changed the platform and my avenues the way I did, because it's been bliss ever since.
Okay, that's a blessing. They were saying the thing about when you're doing God's work or you're doing what God, gives you the passion to do. It doesn't feel like work. It's a whole lot easier and better than when you're trying to just I'm going to figure this out. I was on the other podcast and someone said that they were like, we tell God our plans and he starts laughing like, I got something else for you. So
Right?
yeah, and then we actually listen and we're happy. And also it's funny to me, well, good to hear your story. It's reasons why for starting the pod, to hear everyone's story. We're all going through different parts of life. But even in my situation, that's kind of how this pod came about. I love the people, the clientele that I deal with. I love them. I want to see them become the president of the United States if I can help them, whatever it may be. But I am burnout. I'm burnout. I'm kind of like, okay, I need to do something different. I need to do something I'm more passionate about. So that's kind of how the book came about and the podcast and the other things, we'll talk about, we're working on. But it's funny knowing someone and realizing that we're all getting to a certain age where we come to that point where it's like, okay, I make okay money. I'm doing something I kind of enjoy, but it's time for a change, especially
Yep.
that our kids are getting older. So it's like, okay, I don't have to take anyone to school every day anymore. I don't have to make sack lunches. I don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. So now I can start living for me. So
Yep.
I like that. It's great to hear. So my next question, as far as with what you said about your new career, what are your goals for this coming year, or what are your goals for the company that you have?
Being where I'm at today, it's kind of funny. I've been in the corporate and private sector of career businesses. I will always choose private. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Getting into this industry, it's not easy. It's very male dominated. And I had a lot of people that are like, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. Well, thank you for the motivation because I'm going to show you how I can.
Uh-huh.
And just going down the journey, I was with a company that sold themselves to a corporate. I transitioned over corporately. I helped with the transition on the merger.
Okay.
But I was getting to a point where I was like, oh boy, do I feel like a number and not a human anymore.
Uh-huh.
And this is definitely not what I got into this for.
Hmm.
Being in the industry, I get to partner and get to know a lot of people.
Okay.
And I got to know Eduardo Sanchez very well. We partnered. He was a third-party contract for me. He helped me through some of the busiest seasons I've ever had
Okay.
because I strategically had a plan to make sure I met to every customer demand across the United States.
Hmm.
And we just built a great friendship. And he owns his own company. And, he reached out, sat me down one Christmas season, and he's just like, Marnie, I have one location and I see your work and I really want to bring you aboard because I want to grow. What are your thoughts? And I was like, my thoughts? You want to know my thoughts? Okay. So, I kind of went from there and we talked it out and I was like, you know what? And I'm not one for change. I am for change,
Uh-huh.
but big career changes like that, I was like, oh, can I do this now? Is this the right time? I don't know. Oh my God. And then I was like, you know what? Marnie, step out on faith.
That's it.
The best thing I ever did. I stepped out on faith when I resigned from my previous company. I think I shocked them because I think they thought I would never leave.
Yeah.
And they did everything to try to keep me. And I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is not for me. It's not healthy. I'm going down the path of why I changed my career in the first place.
Mhm.
Came aboard, sat down with, Eduardo and his dad and listened to their vision, their mission, what they want, their passion, they're investing in people.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God, is this too good to be true? And so they said, here's our thoughts, here's our vision. The platform's yours, run with it. Um, and so I did. To have somebody believe in me, trust in me,
Mhm.
and allow me to take something that is theirs
Mhm.
passionately and grow it.
Mhm.
Um, that's a whole different level of anxiety than I can ever explain. And it just went from there. I took their thoughts, their vision, I grew it. We grew, we tripled the company within 3 years.
Wow.
Started out in Memphis, Tennessee,
Mhm.
doubled the revenue by 335% in 2 years. Grew it to 10 different locations. And this year we sat down and looked at it and they said, what's next? And I said, I got a great plan. So this year is establishing ourselves because we're no longer considered a small private company. We're private, but now we're in the whole different sector of not small business,
Huh?
but getting ourselves to that growth of being a large business, privately owned. And so we're looking to expand and add some umbrellas to the company,
Okay.
growing our team internally to higher positions where they can actually manage and keep maintaining the business how it needs to go,
Mhm.
and tripling that bottom line again, so that's our goal. That's my goal. That's the goal that was presented actually this year. And I'm excited because I know we can do it. Our internal team is hungry. They're young.
Uh-huh.
And that's probably the best thing ever. Our turnover is little to none, and that's
Really?
hard to come by. So when you get hungry people, you feed them,
That-
and they'll keep going. That saying, you take care of your people, they'll take care of you.
That's
It
it.
really is a true, it works.
That is true. I agree. I tell people all the time, it's not always what you say to somebody, it's how you say it. And a lot of times if you treat people well, they will stay because and here's the thing,
Absolutely.
sometimes the person may make less at the place, at this whatever location, but it's because of the culture and how they're treated and how they feel like they are involved and they are part of it. They will stay as opposed to paying someone a ton of money and treat them like crap and they're like, yeah, I gotta go. You know,
Yep.
I told somebody a story one time that when I first came out of college, I remember talking to my uncles and I was like, man, I don't care what the job is. If they pay me well, I'll do it and I'll be happy. But as I've gotten older, I realized there's nothing farther from the truth. You can pay me $1 million. If I'm treated like crap and I don't feel valued, you're going to be miserable. So it
Yep.
sounds like you guys have a great culture there. I'm excited. I know I've been seeing, on social media, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so excited for you. And I couldn't wait to get you on to kind of find out exactly what you're doing. You always seem to be happy. You seem to be driven. You seem to be living in your purpose. And I'm just always happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really am. I think I'm definitely where I need to be. And it's been a wonderful journey, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And just the growth, I think, like you said, just stepping out on faith. Something good for the listeners to know when you do have that doubt and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna step out on faith. I'm gonna bet on myself. And if I fail or succeed, I can't blame anyone but myself. So so when you succeed, it's like, okay, it's another confidence booster. It's like, yeah, I can do this, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's also good, especially being a
Hmm.
mom to daughters at that, a
Hmm.
mom with daughters and being in a high executive level position, because
Hmm.
I think we all know it's not, the world is changing, yes, but still it's hard for the woman to climb that corporate ladder, And I was reading something today that said, I hustle so hard because I learned it from my mom, because she never quit. And if I could give anything to my daughters, it is that right there.
Okay.
Hustle, 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 and never ever quit, because I promise anything can be yours if you want it to be.
Hmm.
Nothing is impossible. I think that believes I'm possible.
Hmm.
And that's truly why I drive. It's just it's it's very adrenaline rushing for me.
Okay. And that was, well, one of my next questions was what life lessons have you learned? That's kind of one of the ones you just shared anyway. So I guess with that also, what life lessons have you learned? And what lessons do you want to pass on to your daughters? Because that's one that you already just told me there. I mean, that's huge. Anything
Yeah.
you want, you can have.
Hustle, even when you feel like the world is against you,
Hmm.
it's really not. You are against the world. You just keep going. I think stay in the mindset and stay focused. Um, I think the biggest thing is taking care of you first, because you're no good to anybody else if you don't take care of you.
Hmm.
So you always have to make yourself a priority, and it's okay to be selfish in that sector.
Hmm.
A lot of people you will hear in life journey is, it's so selfish to look at you first, but what good are you to anything if you
Hmm.
aren't taking care of yourself? I always like to say life's like an ATM. You should look at yourself as an ATM.
Hmm.
You can keep, having money withdrawn from you, but eventually money can't be withdrawn if there's no deposits, right?
Hmm.
And so you have to make deposits, not only from the circle you keep, but to yourself.
Hmm.
And I think that's really important to be able to keep driving and keep moving. I think my daughters are truly 1000% my motivation, because I need them to know that they can do anything they put their mind to, especially in the world we live in today. Just keep grinding and fighting and pushing, and on those bad days, it's okay, let it out, cry it out, whatever you got to do. It's okay to have those bad days, because those bad days just give you another stepping stone to get where you got to go. And I think that's the most important out of all of it, that I think I learned is never give up, try to see the light where you can see it, and stay focused, let the no's be the no's, but I promise you get a whole lot more better yeses with that. So
yeah. And I know that your kids and my kids as well play sports. And that's why I think sports are so important, because they teach you that, like, sometimes you're going to be the greatest person, the greatest athlete out there. Some days it's going to suck. You can't give up. Practice sucks, but practice makes perfect. So that's why I think, I know, like, again, I know your kids play sports and mine do as well. And that's why I try to tell them, like, that's why I encourage kids to be involved in sports, because it teaches you a lot about life. And it's a lot like life. Like, you're going to have to work. Like, nobody's going to give it to you. If you want to be in shape, you can't just wake up and be in shape. You have to go put in the miles. You have to go work out. You have to eat, eat properly. And it's the same thing. And I think it's the same thing in the business world. Like you said, it's a more male dominant, industry, with the position that you're in. So you have to go in and have a little, spunk about yourself and a little pride, and like, no, you're not going to tell me that I don't have anything to offer. I did a podcast with a lady named Felicia Higgs Walker, and she was saying that. She was saying, like, when she walks into those rooms, you have that mindset of, no, I have something to say, I have value, I have something I can offer. And that, from what your story, from what I'm hearing, it's the same thing. Like, I think it's something about getting older when that switch kind of flips, and it's like, okay, no, I'm not that little, I'm not that little 20-some-year-old kid anymore that doesn't know anything. I'm all, green, and and you get to the point, like, I do have some knowledge. I have something to offer. And if you get to the point of actually speaking up, it changes everything.
Everything. It's called having that voice that has been kept so low below, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to stand on business. You're going to
That's
hear
it.
me today.
That's it. And what's funny about that, Marnie, is the crazy thing about it is when you realize that if you because the kids love it, I'm standing on business,
Yeah.
yeah, that's their go-to phrase. But the funny thing about it is, once you do start speaking up, people look at you differently, because they realize, I can't just say whatever I want to this person or treat them any kind of way. And this person does have value, and they see themselves as a valuable person. So therefore, I'm going to treat them that way, because they're not going to accept anything less than that.
Yep. Absolutely. Most very important thing ever. Always have a voice.
Yep.
Always.
Yep. And when you're, well, I don't know about your upbringing. I know a lot of times my upbringing, you were kind of taught to kind of, not really say much, or kind of like, oh, just let, whatever. When you get older, especially you move, I don't know about you, but moving to Memphis definitely changed me. I'm like, okay, if you
What you said.
yeah, if you do that in Memphis, you'll never have your voice be heard. I mean, they're not gonna take time. Oh, you have anything to say? They'll just keep moving. So getting older, I think, and having kids helps a lot, because it drives you, because you're like, you know what? I'm not only doing this for myself, I'm doing this for them, and they're watching, and I'm setting this example, and I don't want to set a bad example for them, even on the days I don't want to get up, or I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a question for you. It's one of the questions I ask everybody, and people, it makes me kind of emotional sometimes. Sometimes I hear their answers, I get emotional, to be honest. But so who has or is the single most important person in your life, past or present?
Oh, emotional. Aside from my daughters, I would have to say it's my dad. Um, I may have only had him for a short time in my life. He was unfortunately murdered when I was younger, but he taught me so much in my 9 years of life, and he was a hard worker. He did a lot, for us, and he taught me to be who I am today. He's my motivation. He always told me never take no for an answer. He always said to make sure that I do whatever I put my mind and heart to. And he always said, I was proud of you. So, those were things that I have carried for a long, long time. This past Friday is actually 36 years since he's been gone. And
Wow.
I really just take heed to, one, hoping that he is so proud of everything that I'm doing.
Mhm.
But at the same time, he gave me the motivation and drive to do what I do because he didn't get to accomplish everything he wanted to. So, he gave me the drive and passion to kind of, I like to say, make the dream keep on coming, and giving something back to my kids that he may not have been able to give to me. So I would honestly say he's been a true motivation for me, forever, and I will carry that as long as I can. So
And I'm sure, extremely proud of you. I mean, because, you think about it, us as parents, you want your children to surpass what you do. You want,
absolutely.
every generation should get better. And that's why I say parents are so important. Dads are important, moms are important. Because you think about, like, say, up until what age of 9, and just him
Hmm.
pouring into you is still paying off now, all these years later. Like, your
Yeah.
first thought is, my dad, he's a hard
Yeah.
worker. He told me I was believing myself. And I tell people all the time with your kids, tell your kids you love them. Tell them you
Yeah.
love them. Tell them you're proud of them. Show up at
Yep.
the track meets when it's cold and you got a million things to do and you're tired. Because the kids, it means a lot to them. Even when they say they don't want you there, or you try to talk to them, they're like looking at you like, oh my God, it's like watching paint dry. They want your advice. They
Yeah.
don't say they want you to fuss, but they want you to be on them. They want you to be involved. So no, that is huge. I did not know that about your dad. I knew, roughly, but I did not know that. But I kind of guess he may be the most influential person in your life, past or present.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a heck of a legacy for him to be gone that long and still be working through you.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny because my girls never got to meet him, and they always ask me, they're like, what would grandpa be like? And I said, you guys have no idea. One, you'd be spoiled and mommy would have no say in anything. Number two, he was a man to make sure that home was always taken care of, and I take heed to that. My home, my land that I'm on is named after him and my grandmother, so I can give back to something that they lost in their journey as well. And I'm proud of that. I was able to do something that, he may not have been able to pass over because of the
Mhm.
short end of the stick that he was given, but
Mhm.
hey, I'm going to make it and I'm going to give it to the girls. I know that's something that he would have done,
Mhm.
if he was still here. So, my land being named and having it, with the big sign, Rivers Way Ranch is something I'm very, very proud of. And I take a lot into that. So yeah, I mean, today, past, present, future, he is truly my inside motivation forever.
Well, you've inspired me. I'm all about legacy and all about leaving something for my family and by buying some land and everything. So what's crazy is, so my next question was about legacy. Like,
Yeah.
so you kind of answered. So I asked you, so what do you think about legacy? And, again, we talked about your father passing. I think I've told you before, my grandmother and my mom and the whole
Yeah.
situation. So, at some point in time, we're all going to leave here. And it's not to be morbid, just we are. So when your time is up, when it's all done, what do you want your legacy to be for the world, for your girls, and I just guess everyone or overall?
So funny you asked that because I actually sat my girls down to have the conversation. Of course, I'm like, Mom, we can't talk about this right now, okay? Because
Uh,
you're still here. And I was like, I know I'm still here, but there's going to be a day that mommy is not going to be here anymore. And so to answer that, for the world, if I left this world in a better place as a woman to show that nothing is impossible, that regardless of your past, present, future circumstances, good choices, bad choices, you can be anything you want to be. You just have to know that and believe in yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself, and be the best woman that you can be. And stay strong on that. Stand your ground, have your voice, and own it, you
mhm,
know, and be okay with it. And know that there's gonna be people, life is like a tree, right? And people are like a tree. You have your root people,
mhm,
you have your branch people, you have your leaf people, right?
okay, mhm,
And there's going to be people that are going to be there for the season. There's going to be people who just can't hang tight on what you're going to do.
mhm,
But it's those root people that stay with you forever that's going to keep you going. They'll keep watering
mhm,
and you'll keep growing. You'll just grow, another set of beautiful leaves and branches. But it's the root people that matter.
mhm.
So I would say that would be what I'd want to leave to the world. To my girls is that I think that gets emotional too, right? Is that they be better than I ever was, make better choices than I ever did, go above and beyond than I ever have or could have, and give their children more than I could have ever gave them. But to love hard, love themselves first, and be the best person that you can be. You know, be who you are, be true to who you are, and be happy. Don't allow misery to drown you, and it's okay to make mistakes. Learn from them, let them be teachable moments, but be the best version of you that you can ever be.
I like that. I like that. And something I tell people as you get older and when you realize something I tell people all the time, when you know you're being a great parent is when you realize your life isn't about you anymore. Like everything you do, you're like, oh, I'm accomplishing all these goals, but it's really for them. It's like, I'm
Yep.
trying to show them this. I'm trying to teach them that we can do X, Y, and Z. And even when I ask about legacy, most people that are parents and are really good parents, it always goes back to their children because that's really our legacy. What we leave, we can, make tons of money and all that, and that's great. But really what we leave in the world, our children, like for instance, your dad, what he left in you, that's his legacy. And now you're
Yep.
passing his legacy and your legacy on to your girls. So that's awesome. That's amazing. I've always known you be a great mom and be very involved with your children and want to push them. But hearing your story is even better because again, we haven't worked together in like 20 years or so, which is
Man, is it that long already?
maybe. I'm like, how I don't think I've been alive longer than about 25 years. So I don't know how it's been 20 something
Man,
years.
I thought I was still 21. Hold on.
You gotta check. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, but it's so crazy because we start off with these jobs coming out of college and everybody's just trying to find a job and you're like, okay, you don't know what I told somebody, I tell a story all the time. I came out making 23,000 a year in Marnie.
What you said.
Hey, and it was a salary. So I was like, my boys in college were like, oh man, it's awesome. See, it has a job, it's a salary. And then I tell the story all the time. Even my book, I talk about it. My check was $747 and my rent was $650. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be poor. Like this this sucks. Like nobody told me. I went to school for this. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, just to see the
You
journey.
learn how to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Oh yeah, especially on Thursday because you'll get, it may clear on Friday. I was telling a story
Amen.
about writing checks at Walmart because you write them on Thursday and they don't process
cash
the
till
Friday.
Monday.
Yeah, so you're in there like, oh God, please let it work, and now you can get Frosted Flakes rather than sugar O's, whatever it was I was eating. It was terrible, but but just proud of you. I know we'll keep going with the pod, but I want to tell you, I'm very proud of you. We
Thank you.
just coming from where we started from, career wise. Oh God,
Yeah.
they don't understand the struggle. Yeah, so
They don't. My oldest daughter, well, I have two grown daughters that are out on their own, and my oldest, as you know, Taylor, she's 25, going to be 26 this year. She's got a great job as a special education teacher in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And, she calls me and she's like, Mom, like this once a month check thing, I don't know how to do it. I was like, honey, first and foremost, your salary is 3 times higher than it was when I started.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm going to make you a budget, but you better follow it. Mom, I got to get out and live a little. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
live if you want to. But you're right. It's funny because God, 20 years ago where we started and
Right.
here we are today. I was like, if you all only knew if we had what you have today back then,
Oh yeah.
I think our struggle story would be so different,
It would.
Cedric.
It would. I would have been happy to get up there. Like, you know what? Because like in 10, 15 years, I'm going to be okay. It sucks right now, but 10 to 15 years, I'm going to be okay because those struggles. And it's funny, Marnie, about that is everyone was struggling. Like everyone
Yeah.
at the job was just like, okay, well, I got enough gas to get to work today.
Man,
Maybe
we were
not
scheduling
tomorrow.
our appointments to save our gas
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Only
And
for these days.
and mileage checks, like mileage checks were like a bonus. It was like, oh my God, I got a mileage check. So now I can afford to eat this week. It was
Yeah.
just, oh my God.
McDonald's kids.
So,
It's
oh
the
my
chicken
God.
nuggets for me.
and you were doing something. You're like, yeah, we got chicken nuggets today. You know, it's like, yeah. But I tell people, you know, like, I try to tell people that's one reason for writing the book and for doing the podcast. Let people know, like, it doesn't matter where you start. Like, you can get, like you said, you can get to where you want to be. You just got to grind and bust your butt, be uncomfortable. Like you said, you have to budget. You have to not live a little, as they call it, you know, and it all works out in the end. You just have to put in that time. You just can't give up, because
Yeah.
if you give up, you know the results are going to be,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
Oh my
Whew,
God. Yeah,
dang, you just now I'm gonna have to check my clock over here, man, because I'm a little scared that it's been 20 years.
yeah, and it's
I thought
crazy.
I was still 21.
That's I told somebody the same thing where I'm like, you know, I feel young most days. Like I look at myself, like, yeah, I don't look too old. And then like I'll do something like sit down too long or get stiff, or you know, something on my hip, my ankles, my feet. I'm like,
Man, I didn't feel that
yeah, I
yesterday.
didn't. Yeah. I'm like, when I was a kid, I could do this all day, like playing basketball. Like I could play all day. And now like an hour or two is like, I'm probably not going to work tomorrow. I'm probably shut down everything for tomorrow because my body's done. So I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know. So one more, so quick question. Well, a couple more questions. I'll let you go. I won't hold you forever. Do
You're
you
good.
do you have any websites or upcoming events or anything that you want to promote?
Yep. So, our website, Supreme Staffing, you know, I think is great to show you a little bit of what we have around the United States. Like I said, we're not just here in Memphis, we're all over.
Okay.
Check me out on LinkedIn as well, Marnie Byford. I think, you know, it's great to connect and build networking. You never know how each connection can help somebody to something different that they
Mm-hmm.
didn't think they were needing or wanting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and anytime on my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, Marnie Byford, just follow me. You know, I'm always trying to connect with people. I always try to post positive things every day. I get a lot of messages, and I think that's why I do it more now than ever, is somebody may need something at that very moment and you didn't know it. So I share it a lot. But I think just our website and my social media is I'd love to connect and continue to build a network from there.
Okay. So I guess tell the listeners some career opportunities possibly. Reach out to you, and yeah, Marnie's a great person. As long as I've known her, she's always had that smile. She's always been that same nice person. So I look forward to the listeners hearing this episode one and just understanding and learning more about you. Um, two quick questions. And I'm gonna tell you something funny, Martin. I'll say two quick questions. It'll be like an hour later. And I'll be two more. So, but one, if you could go back and it's not even a question I've even put on my list of questions I was asked, but if you could go back and talk to yourself, I guess fresh out of college, what would you say to her? You talking to yourself at whatever age you came out of college.
If I was to go back to that young girl, then I would tell her, hold on,
Mm-hmm.
everything's going to be okay. Breathe,
Mm-hmm.
let go, and let flow.
Okay.
You'll get right where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. And Martin, if you could show
And
her,
then I'm going to give her a big hug.
she'll need it, huh?
She's going to need it.
But could you imagine talking to her and telling her about your ranch? Like just that alone, telling about, you know, the girls, about
Man,
ranch, about the business ventures. Can you imagine just even if you sat down and wrote it out and said, like, you know, you're struggling now. You know, you're having to flow checks, you know, as we all say, yeah, your salary
I'm
sucks.
floating.
Yeah. But here, look at this. This is what you're going to accomplish at this age. I
Yep.
don't even know what's after this age, but at this point, this is what you will have accomplished. Can you
Man.
imagine walking around in your 20s knowing that, okay, yeah, this sucks now, but this is who I'm going to be in 20 years. So I tell people all the time, you know, of course we can't go talk to our, you know, our future self,
Past selves.
but yeah, our past self. But it would be so encouraging if we could just to be like, okay, this is what it's going to be. So,
Yeah. That
uh,
would be, oh, that would be a game changer, man.
mhm. Because
That
you
would
just
be.
don't know at that age.
Mhm.
You're hopeful because you know you've been told your whole life you can be anybody you want to be, and you're very hopeful and you want to believe it, but then life starts kind of punching a little bit,
Yep.
and you're like,
Yep.
maybe they lied to me. I don't know because you know it still sucks. And,
Yeah.
but that's why I said, like you said earlier, we get to that breakthrough point where you realize, like, okay, I'm gonna stand up for myself. I'm gonna speak up for myself. And I told my kids, I said, when you get to the age where you stop blaming others, like
Yep.
what's going on in your life, whether it's relationships, work, health, it's on me. Like if if someone's in my life and they're not a good person, it's on me. I'm accepting that. If my health
Yep.
is bad, it's on me. I'm not going to work out. You know, whatever it is,
Yep.
it's very empowering when you start just saying, you know what, it's on me. Whatever it is, I got myself in, I'm gonna get myself out. And that's something I would
So
tell my younger self.
yeah, self accountability, I think is very important. You know, the saying is, if I knew then what I know now,
Mhm.
the different changes, you know, that you would make. And it's funny you say that because I made a post, I think a couple days ago about, you know, you can't blame anyone in your life. You
Okay.
can't, you
Mm-mm.
know, the good people are going to give you the happiness. And the bad people are going to give you experiences.
Yes.
um, the worst people, you know, they're going to give you lessons, but the good people, the best people,
Mhm.
they're going to give you the best memories, and it's going to make you the happiest that you could ever be. But you take yourself as priority first.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I like that. And
Yeah.
people don't get that, you know, like they put yourself first. You're always told not to be selfish. And it's not even, when you get older, you realize it's not even being selfish. It's just saying, look, these are my goals. And I can't get there if I keep pouring to other people's cup when my cup is empty. You know, you
Yeah.
pour from the excess of your cup. You can't empty your cup out and then you've given them all you have to drink, and now you're over here dying of thirst. And they're not gonna give you from their cup, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's self accountability. I tell my kids all the time, don't blame anybody. You know, even in sports, if you're not playing, figure out why you're not playing. Go work harder. You know,
Find
because
a solution. Stop worrying about the why nots
that's
or
it.
how comes. Figure it out and move forward.
Yep. And I even tell them about people doubting them. I say, you know, when people doubt you, don't worry about that. I said the best revenge is massive success. If you're successful, it speaks for itself. You don't have to say a word to the person that put you down, the person told you weren't good enough. You don't have to say a word to them. Your success
Yep.
speaks for itself. You don't have to go drive a fancy car or tell them what you got. They'll know the good way you carry yourself and just how life is treating you. So
Actions speak louder than words.
they do. People can tell you they love you all day, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, but if the actions don't meet, it's like, oh, maybe you don't really love them as much as you thought you said you did, you know.
Right. Oh, goodness.
Okay, so last question, I think, and I'm at the edit this, but last question. So, so any other projects or anything that you have that you're working on that you want to work on?
I do actually. I am writing my first book. I am very excited about this. You know, I really felt I had a lot of people always tell me, Marnie, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. You're always saying this, you're always doing that.
Hmm.
And I was like, no, I don't need to write a book. I don't need to do that.
Uh-huh.
And then I had an epiphany not too long ago, and I was like, maybe I do need to write a book. Maybe I do need to put something out there for people that are silent and afraid to talk and feel like that, you know, they're alone or whatever it may be. I think we all have a story to tell. I think we all have a journey to live, and that we should be open enough to tell the story because it can touch somebody that'll be like, I'm not alone. Wait a
Hmm.
minute. I can go here. I can do that. I can be this because I have a journey. It was not easy. And there was days where I was like, I cannot keep doing this. Like, is this really what it's going to be for the rest of my life? Because I can't do it.
Hmm.
You know, and I think that we need to be able to give that motivation and drive and you know, pointers and things to allow people to say, okay, yeah, I can do it. Or,
Hmm.
you know, I'm not alone, but so and so said this, so let me try it this way.
Hmm.
And maybe it's saving somebody, right? There was something somebody said to me. I have carried this for years, and they said it's one person, it's a special person that can take care of business, but
Hmm.
it's a super special person that can take care of business while taking care of hearts. And that has always left an imprint on me because that speaks volumes to a lot of things. And I
Hmm.
think that's really why I want to write the book the way I am. So stay tuned for that.
Well, you definitely, once you get done, let me know. You come back on the podcast, we'll promote it, we'll do whatever you need to do. I'm excited to read it. And
Yeah,
I'm sure it's gonna be great. I tell people all the time one of the reasons for writing a book is because everyone's living, we're living life, we're learning lessons, and we're trying to leave a legacy. And I tell people
absolutely.
you're leaving a legacy one way or the other, whether you leave a positive legacy or a negative legacy. I tell my kids, even with kids that they went to school with, I say, you know, everybody's telling a story in their lives. Is it going to be, you know, a story of success, or a cautionary tale? Like, which one
Yeah.
do you want to live? Like, you pick one. And I think with your book is great, because one of the things I thought about, Marnie, writing a book is, it's another way to leave your legacy on your children and your children's
Yep.
children and the next generation. Because they can always be like, well, I wonder what my great grandmother would have said about this. And they just turn to your book and like, oh, well, you know, she went through this time when she first came out of college, you know, whatever. So I think it's awesome. I think you have a great story to tell. You have a wealth of experience and knowledge to share with the world. And the world will be a better place by reading your story, because you actually will touch and help someone who's probably going through the same thing, because
Yeah.
most people just see your success. That's, you know, I tell people all the time, when you're successful, people see you as a successful person. They don't realize, like, I had to start somewhere, you know. So
Yeah. They don't see behind the curtain.
right. Oh, no, no, no. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Like, you see but you know, behind the curtain, this man
Yeah.
chaos going on, you know.
Yep.
So okay. Well,
Awesome.
yeah. Well, I thank you for coming on the podcast. Well, before we go, do you have anything else you want to tell me before we go? Anything else to discuss?
No, just, Cedric, thank you for having me. I love your book. I think things are great. I look forward to continue to partner with you and, and looking to see your podcast continue to grow. I think it's a great idea and motivation for so many things. Like I said, where we came from 20 years ago to where we are today.
Yes.
This is huge, and I'm so proud of all of us.
Yes, thank you. Well, again, thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for coming on the podcast. I was excited when you sent me the emails. Oh, I was like, got Marnie coming on. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So
Oh, good.
I'm excited, and it's something about, I tell people, you know, both with the Mississippi State and, you know, worked the YB, all this different stuff, and I'm like, it's just something about that camaraderie. It's like, yeah, we got this bond, because we all been through Stark Vegas, where the only thing exciting is Walmart, and, you know, trying to make some little college parties or whatever, and then coming out making the money that we made. So I'm extremely proud. If I can help you in any way, anything I can do, you just let me know. Email, phone call, text, you know, whatever it is, you just let me know.
Awesome. And same to you. Thank you so much, Cedric.
Well, you're welcome. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to check out Miss Marnie Byford, COO of Supreme Staffing. Reach out to her, connect with her, and be sure to purchase a copy of her book when it comes out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Life, Lessons, and Legacy. I hope you found our discussion thought-provoking and inspiring. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us to improve and reach more listeners like you. Remember, life is a journey of growth and discovery, and every experience, both the highs and the lows, contributes to the legacy we leave behind. So embrace each moment, cherish the lessons, and live with purpose. You can find more resources, including my book, Life, Lessons, and Legacy, How to Take Life's Lessons and Shape Your Legacy. Available for purchase on my website at www.lifelessonsandlegacy.com. Also available on Amazon.com. On my website, you'll also discover information about my life coaching services and speaking engagements designed to help you unlock your full potential and live a life full of purpose. I'm Cedric D. Nelson. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.